Okay, let's consider the statement that you see here, and we're going to have to zoom back a little bit in order to see the whole statement. Okay, I think we've pretty much got the whole thing in the picture now. Now this statement says, you will not get an ice cream cone and will get $1 million, or you will not get either. What are the truth values, the possible truth values for that statement? First of all, let's represent the statement symbolically. Let's let getting an ice cream cone stand for P, and $1 million stand for Q, and then see what we can make of this. Well, the statement says that you will not get an ice cream cone and will get $1 million. That's not P and Q, or you won't get either, which is or not either. You won't get either, not P or Q, with parentheses around the P or Q. So it's saying you will not get either of them. That statement can be symbolized further as this. Not P and Q means not P and Q, or not P or Q. So how are we going to set this up? Well, we're going to set it up by saying, well, first of all, here's our truth table. Here's P. We're going to evaluate Q. Now, ultimately, we want to evaluate this mess. First thing we're going to have to know is the value of not P. If we know not P and we know the value of Q, which we will when we fill in the table, then we'll be able to evaluate not P and Q, and we'll also be able to evaluate, well, let's see, we need P or Q. In order to evaluate not P or Q, we need P or Q, so then we get not P or Q. And then we can evaluate the whole statement, which is not P and Q, or not P or Q. So let's see how all that works out. If, first of all, P and Q will have the usual truth values. These are the only truth values they can have, so this is a complete listing. Now, to evaluate the table, we simply evaluate one statement at a time. Okay, first, not P, or one condition at a time. Okay, if P is true, not P is false. For this line, P is true, so not P is false. For the third line of the truth table here, P is false, Q is true, then again P is false, so, P is false, so not P is true. We're listing, again, the not P's, which have the opposite value to the P's. Now, we look at not P and Q. How do we look at that? Well, if not P is false and Q is true, we have an AND. In order for the AND to be true, what has to happen? Both what goes before and what comes after have to be true. So we just have to look at the not P column and the Q column and see whether they're both true. They're not both true here, so we're going to say this is false. They're clearly not both true here, so it's false. Both are true. Not P is true and Q is true, so that they're both true, so the AND statement will be true here. And here, again, the Q is false, so the AND statement involving the Q cannot be true. So these are the truth values for not P and Q. Now we look at the truth values for P or Q. Now we're going to look back at the P and Q columns, and we're going to see whether at least one of them is true. So if it's not P or Q, at least one's true. Well, that's the case here, that's the case here, and that's the case here. In each of these cases, one of them's true. At least one of them's true. And down here, of course, they're both false, so here's your exceptional case. Now we look at the not P or Q. Okay? So we just negate the P or Q. This is not P or Q. So wherever this one's true, this one's going to be false, and vice versa. So we have just the opposite truth values. And now we're going to put not P and Q together with not P or Q. That is, this column for the not P or Q with the not P and Q column. This is an OR statement, so if we look at this column and this, anytime they're not both false, this statement will be true. Well, here they're both false. In every other case, well, here they're both false. Now here, in this case and this case, one of them's true. So this is going to be the way we've assessed the truth value. Again, we look for the OR at the two conditions, this column representing this condition and this column representing this condition. If they're not both false, then the statement is true, and that'll happen in this line where you have a true and a false, and this line where you have a false and a true.